there graders, and welcome to Social Studies. For the first unit in Social Studies, we are going to be working on maps and learning how to read maps and the parts of maps. So we're going to go over some vocabulary. Now, one thing that's cool about when you're doing learning through a video is that you can always pause it and come back to it. So feel free, if you are doing the assignment in Social Studies, to not worry about doing it all at one time. You can always come back and rewatch the video. So one of the things you need to know about maps is most maps should have a legend or a key. So it's a map key or a map legend. It might be called either of those things. And what that is a list of symbols on a map that tells you what they mean. So here's the key, and it tells us that this green tree isn't a forest, it's a park. There's a gas station where the G is. There's a campground where the fire symbol is. There's a railroad, and that's like kind of a checkered line, and then the blue line is the road. So symbols are really important on maps because we might think we know what they are, but depending on the map and how the map key works, it's good to know what the symbols are going to be. And speaking of symbols, the other thing to know is that most maps will have a scale. Now I want you to think about what a map would look like if we had miles on it. It would be a gigantic map. So a lot of times they're shrunk down and you need to know the distance between things. So a map scale helps you to determine the relationship between the distance on the map and in reality. So for this one, it says 1 inch on this map would be 1.576 miles. So depending on the map and how they're measuring things, it could be a longer width or it could be a smaller width. But we couldn't have 1.56 miles on a map because it'd be longer than my room is right now. So everything is done to scale, so they shrink it down so that you know what distance you're traveling. So if you were trying to determine the distance from Louisiana to Florida, you'd be able to do that using a map scale, and you'd get a rough estimate of how much time it would take you. Most of the time now we use Google Maps or some kind of GPS system, so it makes it a little quicker, but on a paper map, that's how you would do it. So that's scale. Symbols, something that stands for something else. So we kind of talked about this with the map key. What we think a picture is on a map, it might not be. So here it says this tree is a park. So it's not a forest, it's a park on this map. And this is a campground and a gas station and a railroad and a road. Now compared to our other map key that was on the last one, that map key had a blue road. Sometimes blue can be the rivers, sometimes it can be streams. So you have to look at your map key or your map legend to tell you what everything is, what those symbols mean. This is a compass rose. Now a compass is something you use to show you direction. An actual compass is something you hold in your hand and it'll determine true north, and then you can get your bearings from there. But a compass rose is a drawing that shows the directions on a map. It's usually on the edge of the map or on the side of the map somewhere too. And it usually shows not just like the 4 main directions, which would be north, east, south, and west, but the other ones as well. Sometimes it'll be very elaborate. But a compass rose is a compass that is drawn on the map so you can determine directions. Now, we're going to talk about 2 types of map. A physical map, and a physical map is designed to show the natural landscapes and features of the earth. So it shows, like, if it's like you can look over here, it's kind of brown color because that's desert area out in the Midwest. Over here, a lot more green going on because we get all of the seasons, and so through here, there's a lot of greenery and growth. It's not as dry, but in the Midwest, you can tell that there's different, it's a different climate in the Midwest too. Same up here in Canada, you can kind of see how it all extends, and down here too. So a physical map shows the natural landscapes. It usually shows the most important political boundaries, but it doesn't give a lot of details. Physical maps are more about what the land looks like that you're looking at for a map. Political maps represent the countries and states and towns. They're often different colors so that you can see them very clearly. And this map shows names and boundaries. So you can tell here that you've got your continents here. They've made them very clear. It's a little weird because they have China and it's down here with different colors, but it's simpler in its color scheme. That's what makes it really different from a political map is different from a physical map because a physical map is showing something physical. Like for example, when you're in PE and you're getting physical, you're getting muscles. Those things that are in your body. So it shows your physical form. On a physical map, you see the forms, different types of forms that are going on inside the maps. A political map is a little bit more simple, and it's a little more colorful in its differentiation between the different states. And, excuse me, what does a good map need? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things a good map needs, but you only need to match 4 of these. They're not all 5 are in your matching. But a good map needs a title. You need to know what you're looking at with your map. Is it the United States? Is it Russia? Is it Canada? Australia? Is it Oneonta? Is it Albany? So it needs a title. You need to know what you're looking at. It needs a compass rose. You need to know if it's going to be where north is, where east is, because depending on where its location is, that's very important too. If I flip my rug upside down, oh, you don't know this yet, but 3rd grade rugs have the entire globe on them. And hopefully I'll get a shot of that when I'm done. But if you didn't know where north would be, you wouldn't know where to put Antarctica. So having a compass rose is an important map tool. Symbols and a map legend, you need to know what the map legend is about. So you need to know what those symbols represent, because it also is going to depend on what kind of map it is. And then scale. You need to know how big and how far apart things are. So I'm also going to take a picture of the 3rd grade rug so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Because it is a globe rug instead of the ones that you guys are used to for 2nd grade. But now that you're done with this, you can go back, rewatch it if you need to, but you have a couple of slides that you need to drag and drop things to, and when you're done, make sure in Google Classroom you turn in that assignment. So you have a few days, take your time, do your best work, let me know if you have any problems. Love you, 3rd grade.